Gorilla. He is the cowboy. It is Algo Factory Tech. And with that being said, this is the place where you will learn not only how to trade in the fundamentals, but how to construct the very algorithms that trade on your behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Make sure you keep a lock right here as we go through this free session. You get a little back room glimpse into what we do here right here on algofactory.tech. And with that being said, Cowboy, flash that QR screen and let's get into it.
Yeah, there it is. There's a QR code. Zap that. Go to that website. We can talk a little bit more towards the end of the show about who we are and what we do. In the meantime, we can hop into the content, take a look at some charts, and see if we got any questions to answer from our private group. Let's go ahead and venture in there. Okay, so let's see. Valley Girl had a question. Which Pepe is the real Pepe to buy? Okay, so there's been a lot of hype around Pepe coin. I know via the Gorilla, I think you got yourself a batch of it quite some time ago. I think that was a while ago for you. And a lot of people I know who are like work on Wall Street kind of guys, like guys that I trade crypto with who also work on Wall Street. They're interested in Pepe. That should probably tell you something. It's a meme coin. As far as I know, I don't know that it has any real use. But if it makes you money, it makes you money. Isn't that right?
That's right. I don't care I don't care if you use it for, I don't know, paying for putting snacks on an online game. I have no cares or concerns about it. If it makes you money, then pump it, honey. That's what I say.
What does that even mean?
It doesn't matter what it means. It just sounds provocative.
Exactly. Okay, so let me blow this up. So you'll have to excuse me, everybody. I was up. I got about 2 hours of sleep last night. I was up back testing all night, actually talking to my coder at 3 a.m. my time, which was only a few hours ago. So if I yawn or something, I don't want to be freaking crucified for it. Let's see here. Pepe coin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the screen here. Let me clean up this screen before I share it. Give me 1 second. And voila. Okay. So let's go ahead and share the screen so everybody can see what I see. All right. So when you go on to like crypto exchanges, or if you go to like TradingView, which is the software that we use here for our charting. Of course, look, if you want to be a trader, there's a lot of different software solutions. It's just that Algo Factory is what, that's what I know how to use. It's what I like and prefer using. I've used others. So if you're on TradingView and you type in a ticker, you type in Pepe, it may be that you see numerous Pepes. Well, for one thing, Pepe USD or Pepe USDT, it's probably going to be a good way to make sure you're getting the right one. Okay. If you look in like the meme coin space, which is like where a lot of new coins are hitting, there's like a new Pepe every other day. So if you're really like doing kind of a search out there in the world, you type in Pepe, you really don't know if you're looking at the right one. It's a fact. It's hard. But if you go, there's a few ways we're going to do it. One of them was pointed out yesterday in the private group, but I'll go ahead and reiterate what was said there, and I'll just show you how I do it. I'm going to look on Binance, BitGet's good enough, Mexi, any of these like kind of major or relatively major crypto exchanges. If they have Pepe /USDT, that's going to be the one. That's how you can find it. Because Binance isn't going to list, like Pepe 5.0, that some kid in his basement released yesterday based on some code that he copied and pasted. Binance releases serious coins only. So that's Pepe right there. Another way to do it, which was pointed out on our channel. Let's see who said it. Okay, it was Ray. So again, Valley Girl asked which Pepe is the real Pepe to buy. There are a bunch of them out there. Ray's answer was look it up on CoinGecko, and it's about 96 from the top coins. The rest are like way down by 1,000. So what does that look like? You can just go open up a browser and you can type in CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, either one. We don't like endorse any of these. I spelled CoinGecko right. Let's see, CoinGecko.com, I think it is. We'll see. I've always used CoinMarketCap. But if you look here and you type in Pepe on the search, right? You see how this one, it's hard to see on the screen. Let me zoom it in. Give me a second. So I typed in the search, I typed in Pepe, right? And you see 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, there's a bunch of Pepes. Well, the one that says number 91, you got this Pepe token that's like 1300, number 1300 on the list. And these are all by market cap, I believe. You got the Pepe, whatever this ordinals means, down to like number 2000. Well, there's the 91. So the highest one in this case is going to be your Pepe. And anytime you're looking for a coin that's like majorly traded, the market cap is probably going to be a good indicator of what's realistic as far as which is the one you're looking for. So, but again, that's a great way to do it. I mean, that's a killer way to do it. Plus, once you get onto these like CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, you can look up on, I don't know where it is on here, but on CoinMarketCap, you can actually look up where to buy it. Here it is. Same is pretty much going to be the same as CoinMarketCap, where you see this markets right here on kind of on the left-hand side above where it says general, and a little to the right. You click on markets, and you're going to see, okay, here's some exchanges here on the left: Binance, Gate, Bing, OKX, DigiFinX, and it's going to list these in order of whatever way you want to sort it. I believe it's going to be sorted by 24-hour volume in this case. No, it's not. Let me see. It's going to be sorted by volume percent. Okay, maybe? No, not even that. Either way, I would just sort by 24-hour volume. Okay, so Binance has the most. If you're not buying a whole lot of it, you can go to really any of these exchanges and get it. It might be, depending on your jurisdiction, whether or not you can use some of these exchanges or whether you know how to use them despite your jurisdiction. Make sure you're talking to your licensed professional to make sure you're not breaking any laws and all that sort of thing. You know, none of this is investment advice. So that's just a quick discussion on how to find a particular coin. Like I say, you can type in the ticker right here on TradingView. And look for it on a major exchange, which is a good clue. Or if you really want to get deep, you go to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko and you look up the one with the largest market cap. Is probably going to be the one. And if you're part of Algo Factory, you can just come on in and ask us, and we'll be able to help direct you. One of the big advantages of being at Algo Factory is that you have a community, right? The people, members in the community will be able to help you in a way that is worth a lot of money, for far more than the $49.99 a month that we charge. We got people in there who code. We got people I've been trading with since like 2017 in there. So it's a good deal. I've got a pretty good tight group of people. So I guess for now, looking at Pepe, Cool Cat asked about pendants recently. So we talked about bull flags the other day, and I even did a clip on it. And bull flag is like kind of similar to what you see here, except price goes up and then it goes back and forth within this kind of defined area that looks kind of like this. Usually it can also have that same flagpole, but then it might actually kind of tilt down like this. And in a bull flag, it doesn't always end up, these don't always break out, but there's a statistical degree of probability that's going to be different for every asset and market, slightly different or not slightly, where price will kind of bounce around and then it'll pop up and you can measure how far it might go. And then in this kind of downward flag, it's going to do something similar, right? Well, in this case, we're looking at what's called a pennant. And so, Cool Cat, I was doing a class or kind of a quick discussion around flags, talking about how we can measure how far they go. If you go to the YouTube channel, you can actually find it in the clips. By the way, if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell, give me some comments, help me out with the algo, say, hey, it's a great show, say, hey, you're a bum, whatever. Comments all help. In this case, you have a pennant. And it's not exactly this flag-shaped situation. It's more of a triangular situation. As to how these play out percentage-wise, as to not percentage, well, that too. As to what percent are going to break out in your desired direction. And also, as to how far they're going to break out. The only way I could tell you, you'll find out what percentage of them break out and how far they break out is you got to test it. The same with flags. So a flag, like if you want to know how far a flag on Bitcoin or say whatever, a stock, any asset, if If you want to know how far they break out, you have to find the asset that you want to trade. You have to go back and you test it through history. We have a whole class on back testing over at algofactory.tech. We'll show you what that looks like in the website shortly. But you can go back, you can test it, you can gather the data, and then you're going to know, okay, for the past 2 years on Pepe coin or whatever it is you want to look at, maybe the euro versus the dollar or anything, we know that flags break out 78% of the time. I'm making this number up, by the way, and they go like up to this point, maybe like the 1.618 extension, for those of you who understand what a fib extension is. And that way you know how often they break out and how far they break out, and you can kind of plan, how to do your trades, right? So, okay, I know they win 70 whatever percent of the time, and I know they go this far, right? And so I know I can get this much money on average. And I might lose some of these trades, or it might not pay off quite as well every time, but I know on average this is what I can make, and you can know whether or not you're profitable based on that. And then you can go ahead and start practice trading, right? Start doing these little trades that aren't going to really hurt your book. That, you put a little small amount of money on there. I like to do quarter position size for my forward testing. Like, say if my average trade is going to be $1,000 per trade, I put like $250 on there. If it's going to be $100 a trade, I put $25 on there. And then I go ahead and gather data in real time, because of course, forward testing is going to be a little bit different than back testing. It tends to be not as kind. Forward testing tends to have results that are slightly not quite as good as back testing. And that's for psychological reasons that we're not necessarily going to get into during this discussion. But a pennant, and in order to know like how well pennants are going to perform versus flags, you're going to have to test both pennants and flags in a given asset. In this case, it would be Pepe. And then you gather the data and do all those things that I said just a moment ago. So, as a matter of fact, we had a newer member asking some very good questions, but they're very basic questions in the group. And I don't, it's for those of you who were in there, it was yesterday at about 1 p.m. EST. And this individual is asking some good questions. And he, just by the name I'm saying, he is really wanting to know some stuff. However, a lot of those questions seem to be and I verified this, but my suspicion was that he had not gone through the content on the website. So our website has, that I've put together along with the Gorilla, we put together a little mini sort of university. I don't know, 50 some odd videos at least. And it goes through some of the basics of trading, how a candlestick works. And then you have another course. I'm going to bring it up right now, actually on the screen. Let's find the website. I'm gonna have to type it in. Give me 1 second. Okay, so it's www.algofactory.tech. I'm gonna flash the QR code on the screen right now, so you can go ahead and have that down. You can even zap it right now if you wish to head to the site and follow along. But I just put it on the screen, or you simply type in www.algofactory.tech as you see on the screen at the moment, okay? And if you're following along, let me zoom in, because for whatever reason, Brave is making me zoom in every single new tab. Let's see here. Maybe because I have like 1,000 tabs running. So as I scroll down to the bottom of the page here, you're going to see their classes. Our courses, you have the Essentials course, which is basically, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Where do I start? What's a candlestick? How do I read charts? What's trading? The Essentials course is going to teach a lot of that information. And then, of course, we're in the chat. I was in the chat all night last night. I worked pretty much all day. Probably took a break because I'm a human being and I'm not in there 24 hours a day. But I was on there last night from about 11 p.m. and my time until about 3 a.m. my time, which is Mountain time. So, and then of course I was back on again at 5 a.m. So we're in there quite a bit, and basically we can answer whatever questions that the blanks that need to be filled in on the Essentials course. Because here's the thing about trading: if I were to make videos teaching the very basics of trading and how to trade, it would be like hundreds and hundreds of videos. There's no way to cover it all. With trading, you kind of get some very basics, and then you kind of pick a lane, and then you go down that lane. And so, depending on your lane, we can direct you where to find some more information, or we can even just give you some more information on how to do it, the nuts and bolts. None of it's investment advice. Then you have the algorithmic structure course. Now that course is kind of, all right, you've been through the essentials, you know some of the basics. Here is how the Gorilla and I do algorithms, right? This is how actually are building these algos. And then you get to take our algo building methodology, and then you get to do your own research and figure out what kind of algo looks best for you. So there's that. And then there's the operations course that teaches you how to treat trading like a business, because each one of these classes, it's like a four-legged table. The table won't stand without one of these legs. You got to have all four. None of them is really more important than the other. You'll fail without, if you don't know how to treat your trading like a business, it's very easy to lose all your money. Trading itself is risky. Like, you need to understand that you can lose all your money. Like, your success is not guaranteed ever. Consult your license, investment advisor for free trade, all that kind of stuff, right? So the ethos course, being the final course here, is the psychological course, the psychology course. And the dirty secret about trading is that the only way to really be proficient in trading psychology is to trade. Now you can read the books. You can, it's kind of like dating or whatever. It's like you can read a book about how to date, but until you actually go on some dates and maybe have a girlfriend or whatever, boyfriend, whatever, whatever you do for a while, you're probably not going to understand the world of dating until you actually do it psychologically. And trading is very much like that. But if you go ahead and study up, what'll happen is that as you go through trading, you're going to have some background information on the psychology so that you will witness yourself behaving certain ways. And then that way you'll recognize, oh, wow, I just went through this and we talked about this when, this is what they talked about in the course. And that way you're not just psychologically blindly going through trading. You actually have some background. You can sort of watch out for some of the mistakes and biases that you experience. So that's how Algo Factory works for those who might be new. So that's, every so often we go through this on the beginner course because a lot of people say, what do you guys even do? So there's that. Hopefully that helps. Feynman diagram. I don't know what that is, Lisa. Were you talking about the flag, the Pepe flag that we were just looking at? Was that your Feynman diagram? Now you got me curious. Now I got to look up Feynman diagrams. Give me all this new info. I have a curious brain. You're poking at it. It is theoretical physics, representation of mathematical expressions, describing behavior and interaction of subatomic particles. Okay, yeah, not going there. Anybody have any charts they want to see? That's a good question. I don't see any requests thus far. V, do you have something you want to see on the charts?
Not currently, no.
Not currently.
No, we'll take it in the private room.
We do. Okay, we can save it for the private room. We do have the Gorilla's Dream. Have I told you about this yet?
No. What's the Gorilla's Dream?
Here it comes. This is an actual simulation showing what a giant banana orbiting the Earth would look like.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's lovely. Look at it. It's becoming erect.
I don't know if you heard all that audio. I had to silence that. Whoever did the audio track for this,
amazing. It's like Halo, the video game, but with a banana.
Right. Yeah. Now, if the audio is like this, like death core metal with like a saxophone on top of it, I was have a freaking seizure. But there you go. It's like Halo with a banana. All right, because he's the gorilla. Get it? Okay, so, all right. Well, actually, I haven't looked at in a while is the SP500. We will review that. From an algorithmic standpoint, I can tell you it's bearish on the weekly, certainly. And it's probably bearish on a higher time frame than that. Let's see. Correction. What is your perfection? Okay, so SP, I hear your puppy in the background.
Yeah.
SP500 is just bearish all around. that is that. Okay, so when you hike rates and you keep them elevated, and rates are a few 1,000% higher than they were for like years, right? Then that's what you're gonna get as a correction, right? And it started in 2021. We had a bit of a move back up starting in late 2022, about a year ago. And this last 12 months has been pretty strong. But as of now, the algos are bearish. Okay, so what I expect for the moment, you do have this old support. It's an old resistance that has now become a support, right? So the past price action, we're going to talk a little bit about price action right now. We have classes on structure, supports, resistances. So, bear that in mind, right? Like when price pivots over and over again, or even once, it creates what's called the structure. And so we're not going to get too far into defining that, but I'm just going to map it out if I can find this guy. And so these pivot points happening over and over is where the buyers and the sellers kind of come to an agreement, and then one takes over the other. Like the bulls are strong, and then they make it up to a certain point, and the bears kick in, right? And that happened over and over again right here on the SP 500, sitting at about 4,200. So you see these 3 points where price came up, and this is the weekly chart, everybody. You're going back to like 2022. Each one of these candlesticks is a week's worth of price action on the SP 500, and price pivoted here, there, and again. But what's interesting here is that this is the bulls being strong, and then the bears kicking in and pushing back against the bulls, and then the bulls being strong, and then the bears kicking in and pushing back at the bulls. But what happened here is that the bulls kept gaining ground. Each one of these pivots on the bottom end became higher and higher and higher. So the bulls were advancing. The bears were defending, certainly, but the bears were not advancing. They were just kind of defending that same line, and eventually the bulls, because you can see they're advancing, they pushed through the bears, and you had this breakout. And this is actually measurable. I'm not going to get too far into this, but you can use a Fibonacci tool to measure how far this might go. And it went right to the 0.618. I'm not going to explain that for the beginner class, but those of you in the, the rest of you who are not beginners are going to understand what I just did with a Fib extension. And it went right to the 618. I mean, bounced right off of it. Just what a Fib extension does. If you want to know more about Fib extensions, come be part of Algo Factory. We talk about it in there in the classes, right? So now it's done that, right? And it has gone off of this resistance, also bounced right off of this old structure from back here, and has been heading back down. Well, that same place where the bears and the bulls kept fighting, that battleground is now where price is kind of hanging out, and price is going to be attracted to that. And then once price is done gathering liquidity from this area, it's going to make a decision. Now, everything right now is bearish. If I were to kind of say, hey, if nothing changed, right? If nothing fundamentally changed, no rates changing, the rates keep getting hiked, or at least left as high as they are, I would expect price to eventually break through this. Now, it could, I'll diagram this. Price on the S&P 500 could bounce around here for a while, and eventually come down, or it could just simply break right through. I mean, we just don't know if or when it's going to happen, but I can say that there's a decent probability that as long as things remain unchanged in the market as of November or December, the S&P 500 is probably going to have a little trip going south. And if it really respects any of this structure that I'm marking out right here, there's a decent chance it's going to kind of bounce at each one of these areas. So it may look something like, say, down, maybe a little bit of up, down, and then kind of like this. But it might also be more violent than that. It really just, meaning like it might go straight down when I say violent. But that's all going to depend on what's going on with, rates and things like that. So just a quick preview on the SP 500 and how that could work. I might get deeper into that in the private room, but that's where we're going to head right now because we're actually right here at the end. So I'm going to throw up the QR code, and thank you all for being here. We love you. Gorilla, can you please give us that send off?
Absolutely. With that being said, guys, join us in the private room. Make it happen for yourself. Don't be sitting there letting money go by right by you. Don't leave money on the table. Learn to profit from the day that you're living in. Learn to profit from the times and the situations the globe is in. The markets are the way to go. And with that being said, Cowboy, let's get into it.